Tattoos in a fantasy setting. A while back, Devin, aka Artistic Soul 347, he came out with a video titled Tattoos in Role-Playing Games. Shortly thereafter, I made a response video to that video, and this is an actual audio follow-up, only because my camera is giving me issues at the moment, so please excuse me for that. But after some time and some careful thought, I figured I'd try to see how I would incorporate things, or how everybody can incorporate tattoos into the fantasy world. I mean, this is necessarily the all to how to, but if you wanted to add them into your world, I mean, this is a good way to branch off, if you will. Alright, real quick, just like many of my other video responses, I take into account the reality of things, and I'm trying to evolve them so that they're just a little bit easier to put into the fantasy world, and with this one, to put on paper. So let's get started. People today, they view tattoos in many different ways. Some people don't care about them, some people love them, others hate them with a passion. Some people see tattoos as an artistic expression, as a piece of who they are, while others get them just to be cool. Then there's those who associate them with gangs and prisons and bikers and outlaws and criminals, and then you have the upside of the military and the Navy and the Air Force. Like, a lot of people associate tattoos with a lot of different groups. Some people view them as very unprofessional, others don't care, and then there's others that completely understand the purpose of them and it doesn't matter to them. Whatever the case may be, one needs to incorporate this viewpoint into each and every PC they create while building a world where tattoos exist. Now, what I mean is, every NPC is going to need to have an opinion. Just like every person who exists today, your NPCs will all need to have an opinion. It doesn't have to be detailed, but it has to have some substance. For instance, NPCs that are covered with tattoos or have one or two, they're going to have a positive outlook, or they don't care outlook on tattoos in general. They're going to see them with open eyes and an open mind, and not be as judgmental as somebody who doesn't have one, who has a bad history with them. We'll get into that in a second. But your NPCs with one or two, they'll have an open mind for the most part, unless someone along their travels has convinced them otherwise, and now they live with regret with that one tattoo. So that kind of, a person of that, in that standing, you can swing either way. Now, the ones that don't have tattoos, they're going to be the ones that require a little more care while you're building their backgrounds, while you're in creation mode of your world, or just that one city, or wherever you're planning on incorporating this one little aspect. And don't forget, if you have a tattoo, they are addictive, so one can influence another, and eventually your city is 50%, 50%. Which then branches out to the rest of the world. So when you bring it into your campaign world, please understand that, like reality, they're going to spread. People are going to want them, they're going to see them, they're going to like them, they're going to love them, they're going to get them. And then that creates more people who are against them. Just, it's an equal balance. Nature needs balance. But back to the NPCs. No matter how they feel, whether they're for them, against them, or impartial, each NPC's interaction with your PCs will have an effect. It's going to affect that one specific encounter. They can potentially affect, your NPC's opinions can affect your entire adventure. And like I said, because of its flexibility and its growth like cancer, it can affect your entire world. So after basing your NPC standpoint, you must next look at the effects that can happen. Now the numbers in the description, those are just my numbers, and just to be comical but serious at the same time. If you guys ever see this in an expansion somewhere along the line, please let me know, because I want Wizards to pay me, because I put a little thought into this stuff. Alright, so back on to subject. Yeah, I want my royalties, fool. Like I was saying, the NPC that does not like tattoos can quickly judge a player with a tattoo. Or even that entire party just for traveling with that one player. And said player or party suffers on all charisma and diplomacy checks against that one NPC or that one person. Now that one person can also, now we're going to reference person as NPC, and your player will be PC, just to keep things on somewhat of a level that we can understand, make it easier. But forget what I just said. Other NPCs, they can interact with that first NPC. Now, that interaction will determine how those other people, those other people will react with your players. Now, if your first person is just not for your tattoos, he's going to go back and tell his friends, and now his friends are going to come back and be judgmental prior to even meeting your PCs, all based on what the first person said, even if the tattoo is now covered because of their realization that, this thing really had an effect. On the flip side, though, a tattooed player or PC, they gain charisma checks, they gain charisma points, and they gain diplomacy points because of their tattoos. There's people in the tattoo world who accept other people in the tattoo world like that because it's a mutual understanding. So that PC will have a little bit easier of a job getting into a group than someone who doesn't, because then it's like now you have to prove yourself. A tattoo in many cultures is a rite of passage, and depending on how your system works, that could be the rite of passage for certain PCs to get into this group, or align themselves or associate with this one group that your NPC is in. Excuse me, 1 second. Drink. So, your interactions can really have a lot of effect because of the tattoos. Now, a lot of people have this preconceived idea that all tattooed people have some evil or some criminal nature about them. This evil and criminal nature creates a fear. Now, when your PCs who are tattooed approach people who have this fear in them, it grants bonuses to your intimidate and bluff checks, because now you're one up on these people. Now, on the flip side to that, these people have lived in fear so long that they've just said, you know what, F it, right? And they've rebelled against their fear, and now they're facing it, and they're trying to conquer it, and they're above it. Bluff and intimidations, they don't work against these people, only because like I said, they've lived through it, they've worked with it, and now they just don't care. So they're stronger. Their willpower is a lot stronger. So your intimidation checks are not going to be what they were prior to. Alright, we're getting pretty much a lot of stuff down. Before we close, I just wanted to discuss a few more little things. Besides the potential NPC outcomes, tattoos can be embedded with magical enchantments or little things granting protection. Certain protections like, alright, +1 to armor class, or just protection against a certain source of damage because of a tattoo. Magical embedded tattoos. Besides the benefits that were discussed about the charisma bonuses, tattoos can affect other stats as well, like your strength. Like you get a tattoo of an iron fist, now you're a little bit stronger, but then that also includes like the +1 AC, let's say. Or you can have your wizard have a Pegasus wings tattooed on his calf, let's say. Now this grants a dexterity bonus, but because of that winged tattoo and the magic that's involved with it, that tattoo also can allow your wizard to float an extra 10 to 20 feet while he or she is affected by a flight spell. And even for your magic users, you can have, instead of carrying a scroll around, let's say you have a scroll tattooed on your arm that grants that one magic user +1 spells per day or +1 spell per encounter. So instead of just 5 spells per day of this rank, or you have these 2 level or encounter spells, now you can have 6 or 3, depending on how the DM wants to run things. Now, to have tattoos available, one must first have a shop, as well as a ritual or method of applying these tattoos. You also need the tattoo artist or artist mage, let's call him, to apply the tattoos to your NPCs in your world, and your PCs, I'm sorry. Now, once you have a shop or several shops open in your world, prices need to be set. Your artists are not going to work for free, so PCs need to be ready to pay for the application of tattoos. Now, what is the price of these tattoos? Magical tattoos, like your standard ink tattoo, that can be, alright, I want this on my arm, okay, give me 600 gold. Standard ink, nothing crazy. But when it gets to magical tattoos, these are where you gotta really think. Magical tattoos, just like magical items, require base materials. They cost experience points, and they also cost gold for the labor. Now will your artist be creating the magical tattoos by supplying their own personal experience points for these tattoos, or will the process drain your players of XP while they're getting it done? Or even how about a level or two, because certain things require a lot of experience to produce. Your artist mage can have a spell that would drain your PC of the experience needed to perform the ritual or the tattoo process. Now, what about base supplies? Does your artist mage have the items necessary to create your tattoos in the shop, or do your PCs have to bring them? Are your PCs required to bring these magical base materials to the artist mage prior to the application? This right here can be the beginning of an adventure in and of itself. Go get this specific berry found in this specific region, and we can start the ritual. A required part in the process. And the adventure can be just what the PC needs to pay for the ink on the experience point level, along with some gold that they may find along the way. Now, tattoos, they can have a lot of effects on your entire world. Hopefully I gave you guys some ideas, some ways you can introduce them into your world. And if you do, please get back to me, and if you can come up with more ideas, drop a comment in the comment section below. That would greatly appreciate it, because we can make follow-up videos to follow-up videos, right? And eventually, maybe together, collectively, we can write an entire tattoo guild or tattoo something and distribute it amongst the community, via email, via direct messages, just as like a tattoo expansion for those who want to do it. So if you're interested in submitting some extra ideas and bumping heads via message or back and forth on the comment section below, please drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Give me some ideas that you want to work with, and then maybe we can compile something and we'll put it into PDF format and then distribute it around. Send to our friends, fellow DMs out there, even the players, if they want to learn how to how they're gonna get certain tattoos. I have a list of a few tattoos and the spells required, and that's how I'm gonna be basing the costs. But yeah, give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think. And I'm sorry to run past 15 minutes, but this was a pretty important subject for me to touch on. All right, guys, gals, thanks for sitting through, and we got checked for traps coming out tomorrow, hopefully, if not later this week. Thank you for coming by. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe and hit the share, comment, like, all that good social media stuff, because you care. Thanks a lot, guys. It's D20RP Gamer, and I'm signing out. Just before we do, roll for initiative.